Well, right now I'm at Starbucks' newest rival in China. This is a chain called Luckin, and the name comes from the Chinese name Rei Xing, or luck and happiness. And what's interesting also is the logo. It is a deer that is native to China.
So imagine a big coffee shop in China called Luckin Coffee. They have more stores than any other coffee shop in the country, even beating Starbucks, which is super popular there too. But a few years ago, something really bad happened. It turned out Luckin was lying about how much money they were making. People found out they were making up almost half of their sales. This caused their stock price to crash, and they ended up bankrupt because they were losing so much money. Even though Luckin went through this huge scandal and was broke, they somehow managed to fix things. Fast forward 3 years, and they're not only still around, but they're making a profit for the first time.
On shares of Luckin Coffee, it's been trading for about an hour at this point.
In this video, we're going to get into how Luckin pulled off this incredible comeback. We'll compare their business moves with Starbucks to see what Luckin did differently to not only survive, but also become the biggest coffee chain in China, beating out Starbucks. Even after they went public in 2019, they were still losing money. Luckin said they were okay with this because they had a plan. They'd sell cheap coffee to get people hooked, then slowly raise prices to make a profit. But here's the problem. The people who got hooked didn't care about the taste of the coffee, just how cheap it was. So, when Luckin raised prices, a lot of those cheap coffee lovers stopped coming and Luckin's sales dropped. That's when things got messy. Luckin's bosses started lying about how much money they were making to make it seem like they were doing better than they were. The resurgence of Luckin Coffee. After the whole scandal blew up and Luckin's leaders got booted out, it seemed like the end was near for the company. But then, out of nowhere, the new management team turned things around in just 3 years, making Luckin profitable again. Now, to understand how they managed this impressive feat, let's break it down into 2 main parts: cutting costs and making more money. First off, they tackled the cost side of things. Luckin pumped the brakes on their crazy store expansion plans and shut down the underperforming ones. This move might have seemed counterintuitive at first, especially after they'd been rapidly opening stores like there was no tomorrow. But it made a lot of sense because it helped them focus on making their existing stores work better. They also ditched some other projects that were just sucking up resources without giving much in return, like those vending machines and the fruit juice joint venture. Then, they went on a spending diet. They slashed their advertising budget by a huge chunk, 60% to be exact. That meant fewer flashy ads and no more free coffee giveaways to lure in customers. And to top it all off, they started charging more for their coffee. Some people weren't too thrilled about paying more, but it meant Luckin was making more money on each cup they sold. But cutting costs alone wasn't going to cut it. They needed to find ways to bring in more cash too. And somehow, even though they were shutting down stores left and right, they managed to increase their revenue every single year. Luckin got creative with its sales tactics to bring in more customers and get them to spend more. They had some clever tricks up their sleeves, and we're going to uncover them in just a bit. Luckin's new bosses tightened their belts by axing unnecessary expenses and got crafty with their sales strategies to boost their income. And even though they seemed to be losing ground by closing stores, they somehow kept raking in more and more money each year. Luckin's recipe for revenue growth. Luckin's incredible growth in revenue can be credited to 3 key factors, starting with product innovation. In 2019, Luckin stumbled upon a game-changing coffee drink that set the stage for their impressive turnaround: the brown sugar boba latte. It was a mix of coffee and boba tea ingredients, and it was a hit among young Chinese people who liked sweeter drinks. Luckin's management saw the potential and invested a lot in creating more innovative drinks to match the popularity of the boba latte. Their R&D team got busy mixing coffee with all sorts of stuff you wouldn't usually find in coffee, like tea, juice, cream, and even fruit. These new drinks appealed to a wider audience beyond just regular coffee drinkers, making Luckin's customer base much bigger. And because these drinks were so unique and in demand, Luckin could raise prices while still selling more. Luckin kept rolling out new hits, like the newer latte and the coconut milk latte, each priced a bit higher than the last, but still flying off the shelves. The coconut milk latte was such a hit that it became Luckin's most successful drink ever. Other coffee shops even started copying it. Luckin kept the momentum going by regularly introducing new drinks like a green tea latte, and they were churning out new products way faster than big chains like Starbucks. Starbucks had to get approval from their headquarters in the US for new products, which slowed them down compared to Luckin. While not every new drink Luckin came up with was a hit, they had so many hits that it drove a big chunk of their revenue growth. Their ability to keep innovating and introducing new drinks helped them stay ahead of the game in China's competitive coffee market. Luckin's marketing mastery. Starting in 2021, they changed their strategy. Instead of just focusing on ads that tried to get people to buy stuff right away, they started doing more ads that were about building up their brand. They wanted young people to think of Luckin as cool and trendy, so they focused on 4 things: being professional, youthful, fashionable, and healthy. They advertised a lot on social media apps like WeChat, Douyin, and Red, because that's where young Chinese folks spend a ton of time. Then, they got lucky with their brand ambassador, Eileen Gu. She was an 18-year-old freestyle skier, and Luckin signed her before she got super famous. But then, just a few months later, she won 3 medals at the Winter Olympics and became a huge deal in China. Luckin put her face everywhere, in their app, on ads, on social media, to make Luckin look even cooler. All this paid off big time. Luckin became the go-to coffee brand for young people, even beating out Starbucks. In a big survey, Luckin went from being near the bottom of the list in 2019 to the very top in 2022. Meanwhile, Starbucks went from first place to last because of some problems they had with health and safety. And if you look at who's buying Luckin's coffee online, you'll see that most of them are young, like 19 to 24 years old. Starbucks, on the other hand, has more customers in their 30s. So even though Luckin spent way less on ads, they were really smart about how they did it. They made Luckin look cool and healthy, and that made young people want to buy their coffee. And all that cool branding helped Luckin make more money in the end. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating insights and analysis. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.